Hello, and welcome to Live Parkinson's Live an Exceptional Life, the podcast where we explore real-life strategies, stories, and science to help you live your best life with Parkinson's. I'm Chris Custenbotter, and I've been walking my Parkinson's journey for 15 years. Now, today's topic is Parkinson's Journey, Discovering Meaning, Purpose, and Hope. Now, living with Parkinson's raises some big questions. What happens now? What's my purpose? Can I still have joy and meaning in my life? If you've ever asked yourself these questions or thought about where your life path will lead you after Parkinson's diagnosis, then you're in the right place. Join us as we explore how living with Parkinson's can become a powerful journey, not just adapting to life living with Parkinson's, but one of profound growth and discovery, what truly matters. Now, I know from personal experience the initial shock of receiving a Parkinson's diagnosis and wondering if my life is over as I knew it. Am I going to have to give up the things I enjoyed? Am I going to be dependent on others and become a burden? Those thoughts can lead to dark places, and I didn't want to go there, and neither do you. I've learned over 15 years living with Parkinson's that yes, your life will change. And I know this sounds crazy, but it has changed for the better. Using optimism and positive thinking has allowed me to define a new meaning and sense of purpose in my life. Since my Parkinson's diagnosis, I've made many great friends by networking and participating in Parkinson's groups. I've taken on new and exciting challenges, like creating the liveparkinsons.com website and doing this weekly Live Parkinson's Live an Exceptional Life podcast and YouTube channel. These give me purpose because I want to help as many people as I can living with Parkinson's to lead a great quality of life and help you find your purpose by sharing what I've learned and sharing stories of my friends and others living with Parkinson's and all the great things they're doing to live their best lives. Has my life changed since my Parkinson's diagnosis? Absolutely. But I can honestly say it's opened new doors and allowed me to grow and experience life in a whole new way. So in this episode, I want to share people's success stories as well as strategies for finding purpose and meaning in your life after a Parkinson's diagnosis. So here's a roadmap on how we can discover meaning, hope, and purpose and growth after Parkinson's diagnosis so that you can live life on your terms. So we'll start with acknowledging the shift that occurs and discuss navigating change and finding new perspectives. Then we'll transition to reevaluating our values and identifying new sources of purpose in living in what truly matters. Then we'll discuss cultivating optimism and then provide some practical strategies for developing and maintaining a positive outlook. Then we'll share some stories of inspiration and how you can live a purposeful life with Parkinson's. Then it's time to apply what you've learned and start taking action. Now, we'll outline the steps toward finding purpose and cultivating optimism. Then we'll wrap it up with some hope and encouragement so you can go and create the life you want. So let's dive in and get started on our new journey of exploration to help us find our purpose. And that begins with acknowledging the shift that occurs after our Parkinson's diagnosis. Yes, it's undeniable that things are going to change. Speaking from personal experience, it can feel like a seismic event, shaking the foundations of what you knew and how you lived. It's completely natural to experience a whole range of emotions in response to that shift. You may experience fear, uncertainty, and even anger and sadness. And that's okay. However, no matter how you arrived at your diagnosis and how you felt afterwards, I'm sure we all felt a big change and transition in our lives was about to happen. Things that you once did effortlessly might be more challenging. Activities you participated in and enjoyed without a second thought now might require some planning or making modifications to be able to continue to participate in these activities. If you had a vision of what your future would look like, it may have changed after your diagnosis. It's vital to acknowledge these feelings that you're experiencing. Sometimes we try to pretend everything in life is just the same, or we try to brush it aside, and these feelings can sometimes slow or impede our growth on our journey. So allowing ourselves to grieve the loss of what was or the potential loss of what we imagined our life would be like is the crucial first step in moving forward. It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to recognize the impact that this diagnosis has had on our life. But here's where our journey begins towards finding purpose and optimism. While acknowledging the transition from our pre-Parkinson's life to our life living with Parkinson's is essential, It's also important to understand that this change to a new life with Parkinson's, no matter how unwelcome, can be a catalyst for reevaluating your life and maybe discovering inner strengths you didn't know you had or finding new perspectives on what truly matters in your life. Think of it like this. You are now visiting your favorite vacation spot, but you notice the familiar paths that you take to the beach or the lake might be blocked or changed. But that doesn't mean there weren't new trails to explore in the first place and new things to discover on your way. You may even surprise yourself and find some hidden gems that you wouldn't have experienced if you stayed on the familiar path. So, this new life living with Parkinson's can offer unexpected opportunities for growth and deeper understanding of yourself. One of the most powerful things to help us on our transition from living with Parkinson's is our perspective. How we choose to view our circumstances can significantly impact our emotional well-being and our ability to find meaning in our lives. Now, I'm not saying that we deny that our daily challenges exist, because they're real. But it's about consciously looking what new opportunities might exist to help us grow and learn. I remember sitting in a Parkinson's support group meeting once, and a man named Tom said after receiving his Parkinson's diagnosis, he had to leave his demanding high-stress career because it was unsustainable. So he decided to reevaluate what was important in his life, and Tom rediscovered a childhood passion for painting. He said painting wasn't something he ever saw as being a central part of his life before Parkinson's, but Tom said it gave him a profound sense of accomplishment and purpose. In fact, it even allowed him to connect with the local art community. It was because Tom had a shift in perspective that opened up a whole new sense of purpose in his life. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's going to become a renowned artist, but it illustrates the potential for unexpected paths to emerge when we step back and allow ourselves to look beyond the initial limitations and open ourselves to new ways of finding fulfillment and meaning in our lives. So remember that acknowledging the shift is the first step. It's about honoring your feelings and recognizing the changes in your life. But it's also about opening yourself to the possibilities that within this new landscape, there lies the potential for profound growth, a renewed sense of purpose, and a brighter, more optimistic outlook. Okay, we talked about acknowledging the shift that comes with Parkinson's diagnosis. Now, let's talk about identifying new sources of purpose in our life, finding out what truly matters to us. Think about it. Life often has us focused on things that are impacting our lives as we progress through different stages of our lives. Career goals, family responsibilities, societal expectations. However, life can also tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, it's time to move in a new direction. A Parkinson's diagnosis can definitely be an awakening experience, but it can also be a time for us to hit the pause button and allow us some time for introspection. A time for us to look inward and ask ourselves some fundamental questions about what's truly important to us. We might ask ourselves, what are my core values? What really brings me joy and fulfillment in my life? What kind of impact do I still want to have on the world? Are there new things I want to learn and experience? I know after my diagnosis, I was able to work for a few more years until my symptoms made it unmanageable. After I'd stopped working, I felt a loss of my sense of purpose. At family get-togethers, I would hear my family members talking about things they were doing at work, and I felt I really wasn't making a contribution to anything in the community. Sure, there was the support of my family, but I still felt like I'd lost a piece of who I was. I did oral care sales and loved calling on the dental offices and interacting with the staff and discussing how the products I was promoting can help their patients. So I did some self-reflection, and instead of feeling sorry for myself, I decided to take action and really spend some time self-reflecting. I asked myself the questions from above. What are my core values? Are there new things that I can learn or revisit, things that I had done in the past? It became crystal clear that one of the things I loved was helping other people and watching them succeed. So I told my mentor what I was thinking, and she suggested that I write a book about what I learned living with Parkinson's and how to live a great quality of life and share it with others. She said that that would help other people. So I wrote a book entitled Spectacular Life, 4 Essential Strategies for Living with Parkinson's, My Journey to Happiness, which is still available on Amazon if you're interested. After the book, we talked about other ways to continue helping others with Parkinson's. And we came up with the idea of a website where I could write articles helping people improve their quality of life, and then doing a podcast. So, with no experience doing either, I did a few months of research and developed and designed the website liveparkinsons.com, and then launched the Live Parkinson's Live an Exceptional Life podcast. And I can honestly say it's been a great experience. I found a sense of purpose by sharing what I've learned and learned from others to help other people live their best life with Parkinson's. I've met so many great people along the way who have supported my efforts and given me guidance. I'm touched by the success stories I've heard from others living with Parkinson's. I've also learned to play guitar post-Parkinson's diagnosis because that's something I've always wanted to do. So, to bring it back to finding joy and happiness, remember the things that gave our life meaning before might still be important, like in my case, helping others. But how you engage in them might be different. Maybe new passions and priorities will emerge as we adapt to our changing abilities and circumstances. Now, this reevaluation process is personal, and there's no right or wrong answers. It's about finding out what's important to you. Where does your internal compass point you? You may find a whole new world of possibilities. All right, now let's brainstorm. I certainly have a lot of those. Now, some potential means for finding purpose. These are just some strategies and starting points to consider. Personalize them to make them your own, but here are a few things to consider when trying to find your purpose. Look to advocacy and awareness. Many people with Parkinson's find purpose and fulfillment in becoming advocates for the community, raising awareness and supporting research efforts. Sharing your personal experience with others can be incredibly powerful and help you stay connected with others who are on a similar path. Then there's creative expression. Parkinson's can sometimes unlock unexpected creative talents, whether it's painting, writing, music, poetry, pottery, or any other art form. Engaging in creative expression can be very fulfilling and offer new ways to connect with yourself and with others in the community. Now, let me share a story of my friend Joan. We met in a Parkinson's exercise group. Joan was quiet and reserved at first, but once you got to know her, she had a strong determination to live her best life with Parkinson's. And she became a person everybody looked up to in the class because of her hard work and determination. One day, Joan walked up to me and said, "I read your book, and it inspired me to want to share one of my passions with others, which was writing short stories, poems, and articles." I was so happy for Joan because it gave her the chance to share one of her passions. Now, to make this a reality, I told Joan that I would love to create a page on the liveparkinsons.com website where we can post all of our writings to help inspire others. So in the very near future, expect to see Joan's page called Parkinson's Posts and Poetry. I hope you'll check it out. I'm going to be posting probably this week her first 2 articles. Now, the next idea is mentorship and support. Your lived experience with Parkinson's holds immense value for others who are newly diagnosed or navigating similar challenges. Becoming a mentor or offering peer support can provide a strong sense of purpose and connection to others. And then here's one of my favorites, learning and growth. Maybe there's a subject you've always been interested in, but never had the time to explore. Now might be the time to delve into a new hobby, gain some new knowledge, take some online courses, or join some study groups. The intellectual stimulation can both be helpful and rewarding. For me, learning guitar was something new and something that was on my bucket list. Now, in addition, I love to take online learning classes. I usually go to Udemy to learn new things. I typically pay about $10 to $15 per course when they're on sale. And I've taken courses from everything from cryptocurrency to website design and computer coding to songwriting, rhythm guitar, and business. I just love to learn new things, and online courses enabled me to do that. I can learn a wide range of new things right from my computer. Finally, strengthening relationships. Sometimes a significant life event like Parkinson's can bring us closer to our loved ones. Focusing on nurturing and deepening these connections with family, friends, or within support groups. This can give a powerful sense of meaning and belonging to your life. Some people even take up genealogy and build a family tree and learn more about their family history and its roots. So, as an example of strengthening relationships for me, is my relationship with my brother Bud. Since my Parkinson's diagnosis and caring for our mother who has dementia, we've been very close. Since we both enjoy similar hobbies and interests, we've been spending a lot of time together doing the activities we both enjoy, one of which is fly fishing. We do an annual pilgrimage to the Delaware River in New York to fish the east and west branches in search of big brown and rainbow trout. And we practice catch and release, so this is an ideal spot for us to fish because that's the regulations there. We've been to Montana, and this year we're going to Michigan to fish the Ausable and the Pere Marquette rivers. Now, we also spend a lot of time at my cabin in the mountains in northern Pennsylvania. He even puts up with my guitar playing when I take that along and we're sitting out on the back porch. So, to wrap up this segment, I encourage you to take time to reflect on your values. What truly matters to you? What kind of impact do you want to have? And what avenues of purpose might be waiting for you to discover in this new chapter of your life? This time of self-reflection can be a powerful step for not just living with Parkinson's, but towards living a happy, fulfilled life with Parkinson's. Okay, we spent time acknowledging the shift that comes with a Parkinson's diagnosis and how to re-examine our values and identify a new sense of purpose. Now let's turn our attention to a crucial tool in helping us navigate our Parkinson's journey, and that's cultivating optimism. Let's be clear. Optimism isn't about ignoring the challenges we deal with our daily motor and non-motor symptoms, or pretending everything is easy and nothing is bothering us. Instead, optimism is about choosing to focus on the possibilities of what you can do and accomplish, the strengths you possess, and the potential for positive experiences, even during your most difficult times. It's about creating a belief in a brighter future and actively searching for the good in each day and in each person we meet. Now, we talked about finding our sense of purpose, but did you know that finding purpose and cultivating optimism are often intertwined and go hand in hand? When we feel like we have something meaningful to contribute, and when we're engaged in activities that align with our values, it naturally helps us foster a more positive outlook. Having a sense of purpose gives us a reason to keep going, to overcome obstacles and challenges that we face, and to believe that our efforts really matter. Nothing's more disheartening than feeling that what you're doing really doesn't matter and that you're just going through the motions. A more optimistic mindset or belief can make it easier for us to identify and pursue the things that give us meaning in our lives. It helps us create a positive feedback loop where purpose fuels optimism and drives us to find more purpose. Okay, this sounds wonderful, Chris. But how do we incorporate this sense of optimism in our daily lives, especially when facing the realities of Parkinson's? That's a great question. So let's provide some practical strategies to help us accomplish this. And let's lead it off with gratitude practices. Yes, I know this sounds simple, and you may be thinking, what is he talking about? Gratitude practices? Yes, these involve regularly acknowledging the good things in your life, no matter how small, because they can have a profound impact on your life. Think about it for a second. We're often bombarded with negative stories from the news, gossip from others, etc. But do we really take the time to appreciate the good things that we have in our lives? The more we can focus our attention on the blessings and good things we have in our lives, the better we're going to feel about ourselves and our loved ones. Now, I try to surround myself with positive people and positive things because they make me feel good. I try to avoid negative thoughts, negative people, and negative things because they can really bring you down and make your life miserable. So, Chris, how do we do this? Well, one of the things I start by doing is keeping a gratitude journal. Take a few minutes each day and write down the things that you're grateful for. It could deal with people, places, events, experiences. For example, you're grateful for your supportive spouse or a friend, a beautiful sunset, something that makes you laugh and happy, an experience you had or looking forward to. The gratitude journal helps you shift your focus from what's lacking in your life to what you already have and experience. Now, I like to write in my gratitude journal in the morning because it sets a positive tone for the day. Now, another strategy to consider is mindfulness and presence. Now, I've talked about mindfulness in a few of my other podcasts, and we know that Parkinson's can sometimes cause anxiety about the future. Now, we may think about what's going to happen to me and my family. Am I going to become a burden? Mindfulness can help us overcome these anxieties by focusing on the present moment. By using techniques like meditation, deep breathing exercises, paying attention to your breathing, these can reduce worry and cultivate a sense of calm. So try sitting for 5 to 10 minutes in a comfortable position with your eyes closed and just focus on your breathing. Focus on the cool air entering your nose as you inhale and your warm breath as you slowly exhale through your mouth. If a thought comes into your head, acknowledge it and return to the focus on breathing. I think that you will find that you feel so much better. Now, there are a number of apps that can help you with some of these practices. Just search for Calm, Meditation, and Mindfulness when looking for apps on your phone or your computer. Next up is positive self-talk. Become aware of how you talk to yourself. Now, one of the things I did when I was doing cognitive behavioral therapy was to write down my negative thought or my what if, like what if this happens, and turn it into a positive thought or statement. I was amazed at how much I talked to myself in a negative way, and by writing it down and changing it to a positive statement or thought, helped me change my thought patterns, and pretty soon I automatically began replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. Remember, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would give to a friend you're trying to encourage. Now, the next strategy I touched briefly on before is surrounding yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with and the places and environments you spend time in can have a significant influence on your mood. Seek out supportive and uplifting individuals, engage in activities you enjoy, spend some time in places that make you feel good. Read books about positive people and how they overcame their challenges. Watch positive and uplifting movies or TV shows. They're really going to help and they'll make you feel better. Now, the next strategy is a key one, and that's setting achievable goals. Because big goals can seem overwhelming, especially when we're facing health challenges. So the key is to break them down into smaller, more manageable steps. So when you achieve these smaller goals, you get a sense of accomplishment and you feel good about yourself. And then that can build momentum to keep you pushing toward your big objective or big goal. It gives you the optimism and belief in yourself that you can overcome obstacles and any challenges that get in your way. And then tied to this is our next strategy, which is focusing on your strengths and abilities. It's natural to acknowledge the challenges Parkinson's presents because honestly, we deal with them on a daily basis. But instead of saying to yourself, I can't do the things that I used to do anymore, instead focus on what you can still do and learn and do new things that you're able to do. You might surprise yourself and find lots of positive, exciting things you can do that you never thought you were able to try before. Now, I really like this next strategy, which is learning and growth mindset. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I love learning new things, and I do a lot of online adult learning classes. So, view some of the challenges you face not as limitations, but as opportunities to learn and grow. Every time you overcome an obstacle, it builds resilience and fosters more belief in yourself. So think about things that you'd like to learn more about and go experience it. You may surprise yourself on what's out there waiting for you to learn. Finally, and last but not least, is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, especially on the difficult days. Recognize it's okay to struggle and treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer someone else you care about. So, cultivating optimism is an active practice, a conscious choice you make every day. It's about training your mind to see the possibilities, to appreciate the present, and believe in your ability to navigate the challenges ahead. By incorporating these practical strategies and actively pursuing your sense of purpose, you can nurture a more positive and hopeful outlook on your journey with Parkinson's. All right, I wanted to share with you some real-life examples of people with Parkinson's who are finding or have found purpose in their lives and are living fulfilling lives despite living with Parkinson's. First up is Michael J. Fox. Now, we all know from his life as an actor, starring as Alex P. Keaton on the show Family Ties and the Back to the Future movies, and many more movies that he's been in, as well as TV shows like Spin City. Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's at a young age. I believe it was 29. Instead of retreating, he became a prominent advocate for Parkinson's research by starting the Michael J. Fox Foundation. His tireless work has raised hundreds of millions of dollars for research and significantly raised the awareness of Parkinson's. His purpose is clearly rooted in finding a cure and supporting others living with Parkinson's. He continues to be a public figure, sharing his experience with humor and resilience. If you haven't seen his latest movie, Still, check it out. It's very inspiring. And to learn more, visit the michaeljfox.org website, and also on my Live Parkinson's valuable resources page are a list of books that are available from Michael J. Fox that I've personally read and highly recommend. Next up is Kirk Gibson, a former Major League Baseball player. Kirk was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Despite the physical challenges, he remained involved in baseball as a broadcaster for the Detroit Tigers. His presence and commentary provided inspiration to many, showing that even with a progressive neurological disease, one can continue to contribute their expertise and passion. His purpose shifted from playing to sharing his love of the game and demonstrating resilience. Next up is Thomas Isaacs, co-founder of the Cure Parkinson's Trust. Before his passing, Tom Isaacs was a tireless advocate and fundraiser for Parkinson's research. Diagnosed at a young age, he co-founded the Cure Parkinson's Trust, a charity focused on finding a cure. He participated in incredible physical challenges, like walking across Britain to raise awareness and funds. His purpose was unequivocally centered on finding a cure and empowering the Parkinson's community. Next, we have Sonia Mather, MD, a former family physician diagnosed with Parkinson's. Dr. Mather found a new purpose educating and empowering others with Parkinson's. She speaks at conferences, writes articles, and runs workshops focused on strategies for living well with Parkinson's. Her medical background, combined with her personal experience, gives her a unique perspective and allows her to connect with others on a deep level. Her purpose lies in empowering others to navigate their Parkinson's journey. Next is Omatala Thomas. A vibrant individual living with Parkinson's, Omatala actively shares her journey on social media and through speaking engagements. She focuses on raising awareness, challenging misconceptions about Parkinson's, and inspiring others to live fully. Her purpose centered on visibility, education, and fostering a supportive community. She demonstrates that a Parkinson's diagnosis doesn't mean the end of an active and engaged life, but just the beginning. And then Davis Finney, a former professional and Olympic cyclist, has become a beacon of hope for those living with Parkinson's. After being diagnosed, he refused to let the condition define him. Instead, he embraced a philosophy of celebrating small victories, which led to the creation of the Davis Finney Foundation, an organization dedicated to helping people with Parkinson's live well. His journey is one of resilience, positivity, and purpose, proving that in the face of adversity, one can find joy and fulfillment. Now, I was fortunate to meet Davis and talk with him and listen to him speak. He's very encouraging and uplifting. And to learn more, visit the website at davisfinneyfoundation.org. They have a lot of great resources, as well as the Michael J. Fox Foundation. These examples highlight the many ways people are finding purpose while living with Parkinson's. Now, it's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes just making a difference in your local community and connecting with others, or finding joy and meaning in creative expression, are what really matters. The common thread with all these people is a proactive approach to life, a focus on what they can do, and using their strengths and abilities, and a desire to contribute and connect with others that gave them purpose and meaning. They serve as powerful reminders that Parkinson's diagnosis doesn't define the potential for purpose and a new meaning of life. So as we draw to a close on this episode, Parkinson's journey, discovery, meaning, and hope, I hope our conversation today has resonated with you. We've explored the importance of acknowledging the shifts that come with Parkinson's diagnosis, a powerful process of reevaluating your values to uncover new sources of purpose, and the vital role of cultivating optimism in navigating our Parkinson's journey. Now remember, living with Parkinson's is a unique path for each individual, but it doesn't have to be a journey devoid of meaning or hope. By actively seeking out what truly matters to you, by embracing new possibilities, and by nurturing a positive outlook, you can continue with a life filled with purpose and joy. If you'd like to delve deeper into these topics and find even more support and resources, I encourage you to visit my website, liveparkinsons.com. There you'll find a wealth of articles, practical tips, and inspiring stories to guide you on your journey. And to stay connected and receive regular insights, be sure to subscribe to the free monthly newsletter directly on the website. It's packed with valuable information and encouragement delivered straight to your inbox. Now, we also have a growing library of other free resources and articles available on liveparkinsons.com. They're all designed to empower you and help you lead a great quality of life with Parkinson's. Now, this podcast and the resources on Live Parkinson's are fueled by my passion to help and support the Parkinson's community. If you find value in what I do and would like to help me continue this mission, I would be incredibly grateful for your support. Visit my Ko-fi page at kofi.com/liveparkinsons to contribute in any way you can. Your generosity helps me keep this podcast going and allows me to continue providing valuable resources to those who need them. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There is strength in connection, power and purpose, and enduring hope to be found every day. So until next time, take care, stay healthy, stay hopeful, and keep discovering the meaning and purpose that makes your life uniquely yours. Thanks again, and thanks so much for listening.